Good morning. Yes, it is morning here. One of these days where I get up early, and I wanted to make a video about a new aircraft for Prepared. Yes, I bought actually a completely new add-on for Prepared. Didn't think that I would do this, but in this case I did. Main reason was that the old PMDG 737 NGX, which I still have, and I never bought the NGU because for me it was simply too expensive to get a similar airplane that I have. Actually, well, I thought it's working in Prepared version 5. Unfortunately, it turned out that the NGX kind of works, but has abysmal performance, and there are some other issues with it, and is not exactly stable, as it turned out now using it for longer. And PMDG is not supporting it anymore in Prepared version 5. That is the reason why I bought something that I just recently realized exists, the Ifly 737. And how did I get to the Ifly? Well, I had the first 737 on Prepared that I had was actually the Ifly. And it's a good airplane. I also had the 747 from Ifly. They both worked until Prepared version 4. When Prepared version 5 came out, unfortunately these both add-ons became unusable. And as I not keep 4 and 5 on my PC anymore, yeah, I had to kind of put them ad acta and forget about them. And then recently I stumbled over Ifly for Prepared version 5 because I forgot that the Ifly 737 doesn't work on Prepared version 5. I installed it and then I remembered, oh crap, yeah, that doesn't work, because a lot of things have changed, and the DLLs, the kind of code stuff that the Ifly uses, is simply not compatible with version 5, so nothing really worked. I deinstalled it again, and I thought, what a pity, I have these two aircraft, I paid money for them. Wouldn't it be great if I can get some kind of update or so? But, and then I discovered it. There is actually a version 5. It's quite a recent development. It's from this year. At least it looks like it's from this year. Last update was in May of 2022, so it's actually quite good. And not only that, there's also an expansion pack out. It gives you, beside the base pack, which is the 800, 737-800, it also gives you the whole range of 600, 700, 900, 900ER BBJ, and a 800 BCF, which stands for converted freighter. Boeing converted freighter. And that is fantastic, because that's also what PMDG offers. But the thing is, if I want to get the same range of aircraft, especially the freighter version, it would cost me around €180 or $180 roughly. At the moment we are on par, $1, €1. €180 to get this. There's no reduction. There's no, you have an older version, you get a little bit of a reduction. Nope, none of that. And I thought, no, that's simply not worth it. The NGX isn't working, so unfortunately no 737 in the Prepared version 5 simulator. The Ifly, the new version, costs around, I think it's, the base pack is $70. So it is already much cheaper than the PMDG. Now, obviously, PMDG is the creme de la creme, okay? They put a lot of stuff in. I'm pretty sure they're worth the money, but I just didn't want to spend that much money on it. Yeah. And with a reduction, I ended up with $50, around $50 for the 800. And then I spent another $25 on the expansion kit, which gave me all the range, including what you see here. That's the freighter. So I think it's a good deal. Yes, $70 isn't exactly little money, but I think you get a very good compromise. First of all, you get an awful lot of aircraft. even the 900ER for extended range, which I'm intending to test maybe on some kind of transatlantic short hop. That means shortest connection and see, because I think that with the 900ER, theoretically, at least you can get to the Azores, I'm pretty sure. But you might even be able to cross the Atlantic. I'll test that at some point. And the quality, as you will see, is actually quite good. This is a really decent add-on or a set of add-ons or aircraft. For that price, me personally, that's why I spent the money. It was kind of worth it having a good range of 737 aircraft that works. Frames are back to normal with this one here. Unfortunately, the NGX was not. I was in single-digit frame rates, single-digit. It did fly, actually. It's amazing. With 7 frames per second, the 737 NGX was actually flying. Well, Autoland went, no, that didn't work. But still, it's no fun having to fly with 7 frames per second. But this year is back to normal, somewhere in the range of 35 to 39 frames, which is normal for my setup. So the freighter is actually a converted freighter. That means it's 800 model, or in real world, it's the 800 frame, body frame. They close off all the windows. They take out everything that's in the cabin. They put a huge door there. You can see it under the 737-800 BCF writing on the left here. And yeah, and then you have a freighter. Well, it's a bit more than that. But it's a great way to make to reuse or make good use of older 737-800s, and Boeing offers this conversion service. It has its price, I suppose. But it's good to have the option, because we used to have cargo versions for the Classic, and like there were conversions also for the 400, 500. If there was that a conversion, or was that even a native cargo? I can't remember now. Probably most of them are conversions from passenger versions. Okay, so model is quite good. You know me, for me this is not really overly important, but I do like a decent modeling, and the modeling here is actually quite decent, as you can see here. So when I zoom in a bit, I have a bit of a problem with chase plane. Since the last update, it has become a little bit strange. But what you can see here is actually a very, very sharp and high resolution modeling. So absolutely no problem with this one here. Here you can see the door, by the way. You see this metal frame. That's kind of a protection, so that when the loaders come, they don't damage the skin. And you can even see kind of where the windows were before here. Yeah, there's this kind of they're closed off, because they I'm not sure if they completely take out the windows. I guess they would probably take out the windows and kind of close them off with some metal shield or something. I don't know. Here's the lights, and you can see the modeling is very good. So there's no wishy-washy textures and lines. It's actually pretty good. And that's all I want to tell you about the outside. Let's go into the inside. And although it may not look as spunky and as high fidelity as the PMDG, the NGU, I think it's actually very good. When you look at it from this angle, it's definitely gives the 737 feeling here. Absolutely no problem. The only thing I realized is that the click spots and the whole logic of using the controls is a little bit better in the PMDG. This can be a little bit confusing at times. For example, I tried to turn on the auto throttle by left clicking, and it turned out I had to right click. So that takes a moment to get used to. oh, hang on, let me take away all that stuff here. Yeah, well, so very nice cockpit, and no matter what angle you use, yeah, hang on, like here. So chase plane has changed. For some reason, I lost the transitions between the views. I didn't want to spend another hour now trying to figure out why chase plane is not doing what it was doing yesterday. But so we'll have these kind of jumpy transitions, but what the heck, I don't care. It's probably better also. So very, very good modeling. The only thing that is a little bit strange is the cockpit lighting. We might be looking at it later on. I realized when you are in an airport like Stuttgart, and this is a payware Stuttgart, there's a lot of external lighting, and in Prepared, when you have HDR and so on high definition lighting, then the lights from outside actually brighten up the cockpit, and that is a very strange look in some cases. I can't remember having seen this in the PMDG, in the NGX, or in other aircraft that I have. So it's a bit strange. As soon as you're in real dark, like on flight, it looks actually quite nice. And we're going to have a quick look at it later on. That's the only thing where I was kind of, I'm not that impressed by it, but it's still okay. I'll show you later on how it looks in the dark. But what's really great about this aircraft is there are, on both sides, by the way, I just happen to use now the first officer side, there is this EFB thing. You need to have power. So we very quickly need to see this. This really threw me off when I unpacked it and was in there the first time. It drove me nuts because I couldn't figure out the logic, because I always try to click on the lids, so on these safety covers here, and what you need to do is you need to bring it into the position that it needs to be, like in the auto position, and then the thing comes on its own. And I was constantly clicking, and it came down and came up again, and I was thinking, so just bring it into the position that you want it to, with right and left click, by the way, on these kind of switches. And the confusing thing is, when do you have to use left and when do you have right? So the logic that they put into is a bit strange. Also a bit strange is, I thought that the transfer bus is in the auto position. Yeah, and it is. But for some reason, with the battery, I only get this side. So this, I don't know it like this from other Boeings. Maybe it is realistic, but I don't think PMDG is doing that. So there may be an issue here with the bus transfer logic. I don't know. We haven't got ground power, so we need to now do the following. Let's try and turn on. Oh, okay. Shouldn't that not work? I thought that should work. Now that's a bit of a bummer. Let's see if we, okay. So the good thing is you do not need the EFB. You can also go in here, or by the way, there's a menu up here, add-ons, Ifly. Don't know if you can see it. So all the functionality is available from several sources, which is great. Okay, it's just a bit confusing at times. You do have panel states, by the way. So you can provide the name and then say load the route or load the panel state. But what we want to do is ground support. Ground power. Connect. Okie dokie. Here we got now ground power. I turn that on and then stuff springs to life. And now we should be... Why is that not working? It just worked, you know. What? Why is this one working? Yeah, okay. Well, let's use this one for the moment until we figure out how we activate the other one. That worked since I unpacked that aircraft. But when I make the video, obviously things have to go wrong because otherwise it would be boring, wouldn't it? This is a great thing. I don't want to go into all the details because this is a try and fly and I don't want to spend a lot of time. I might do a kind of a more in-depth familiarization video as soon as I have actually familiarized myself. Oh, by the way, I love this. I love aircraft that open the window. I know it's stupid, but I just like it. I like to have virtual fresh air in my cockpit. And get the rain and the snow and the cold air in there as well. Okay, terminal charts. You can connect to Navigraph. So if you have a Navigraph subscription, that works. Great. This is Airport Map. There is a tool out there that allows you to scan all your scenery. You have to redo it when you make scenery changes. And then it actually builds some kind of an airport layout. And this is the only view where it gives you the position. And it, if available in the scenery, it also gives you the taxiway names, which is great because in the terminal charts, unfortunately, in the Navigraph, this thing does not have. Oops, I keep forgetting you need to click in there first. So when we go to Stuttgart complete, then it lacks the little arrow with the position. That normally works with Navigraph if you have the Symlink. I do have the Symlink externally. I do have connection, but in here I don't. It's the same, by the way, with the Navigraph integration into the PMDG 747. Same problem, or not problem, but same lack of wished functionality. Let's call it that. Yeah, I mean, there's menus here. You can do the night mode, which I usually prefer because it's easier to read and to look at than compared to the white one. You can rotate it and yeah, so there's these clips. You need to go and pick other clips. Okay, so for example, if you do edit clip, then we want to get a departure chart. So for example, the Uptal 4, you say complete, and now you have in your clip, chart clip, it's like in the old days when you had the clip, yeah, which is actually can be seen behind it. There's the old clip here, and then you can kind of clip your charts there and call them up. Nice idea. It's great. It's one of the few aircraft that offers you this in prepared, like Navigraph integrations. I think Aerosoft may be doing it, but I might get mixed up with MSFS. So confusing these days with all these simulators. It's great. What it does not have yet, or at least at the moment, it doesn't seem to, is a direct SimBrief integration. That means that you get your flight plan loaded and everything loaded from SimBrief. At least I haven't seen it yet. But as I say, it's early days. I just got the add-on. Can't tell you. Now, that's about all I want to show you here from the EFB, because I really want to get cracking with the aircraft. Now, I do have FS2 Crew because I had the old FS2 Crew Ifly and for the prepared version 4, and that actually works also with this one here, which was great. I wasn't sure, but I just tried it out and it actually works great. But I'm not going to use FS2 Crew here. I'm going to do it myself, trying to kind of remember what I have to do. So let's quickly go through here. Fuel pumps are off. So we do have ground power, so we can theoretically, well, IFE, we don't really have passenger entertainment systems and things like that, so we're on the ground power. Then, so the emergency exit lights, let's put these on. Is anything happening here? No. Yep, let's turn on the Window heat, that stays like this. This is off. This is the basic setup at the beginning. That's fine. Trimmer we turn on. Let's also turn on these two here into auto mode so that we get our electronics. You can't actually connect an air unit if you are on a very hot airport somewhere and you need cooling without the APU. You can go here. Well, let's see. So, oh, now it works. I have no idea what was wrong. Anyway, sim, you go to ground support, and what you could do is you could connect the ground air unit to set, and in order to use it, obviously what you would do is you would set this into auto and at least open one of the two packs, and then you have the flow of air. Okay. But because this produces noise that I don't want, I'm going to turn this off again. That's all the kind of stuff that I discovered going through it. Yeah, let's see. So the IP is still off. We know that we're going to fly on flight level 140, and Stuttgart I think is no. Let's put that in 5,000 steps, and here to 1250 I think should be the right one. I'm going to put on, oops, yeah, left and right click. The up and down is actually kind of counterintuitive because I thought, but somehow in other aircraft you click the right one for up, and it's the other way around. So up is left and down is right. You just have to get used to this. So let's use that starter. Now let's go here. You can do the light test. You can also do the tests here. It's all coded. You can reset the fuel flow and switch here this display. That's all working nicely. Here's your MCP. The displays can be brought out and also put on another screen, and they're decent resolution. They look pretty good. They might not look exactly what you are used to from PMDG, but for me they are close enough to what I know about Boeings. Okay, even these things do work. Yeah. So if you have to switch displays due to some problem with your display units, that's great. The GPWS test. Was it the GPWS test? The zoom doesn't work at the moment. It's the system test of the GPWS, yeah. In-op. Oh, oh, maybe we haven't yet set up the aircraft the way it's needed. So we look down here, parking brake is set. Yeah, make sure that all your... So I had a problem with the speed brake on first trial, but it was something with the axis or so. I hope it fixed it. We shall see. By the way, all these tests work. Same here. Okay, and there's also a test here for the cargo. Actually quite important on the cargo plane. Okay, now there is no cabin, and I can't remember if you can turn the cabin on or not. So the door to the, if we go here, so the door to the, this can't be opened, and you can walk through, but this is what you see. Okay, it's not modeled, but it's okay. I don't really want to be in the in the cargo compartment of the aircraft anyway, so that's fine for me. And that's about it. So we have a great EFB. We can adjust almost everything from 3 areas like the fuel and so on. It can be a little bit confusing at times. So one of the things we need to do now very quickly is turn these on. And let them align. And then we go here. Now there are these 2 menus, but they don't really do anything. The ACARS came online, so at the moment it doesn't seem to be simulated. You go to the FMC. I've actually updated the ARAC with Navigraph. That's possible. There is a entry for that available for the Ifly. I'll do the position in it. And I have, I think, instant. I think I have instant alignment, so we should probably be aligned now. Yep. Yeah, it's instant alignment. You can have realistic times if you want. Echo Delta Delta Sierra. We're on grade 105, which is in the cargo area on the south side of the airport. And as you can see, the positions actually match. Let's go to the route. It's our usual Try&Fly route, EDDS. That's actually typical for the Boeing, that it shows you the airport if you have provided it on the first page. Echo Delta Delta Mike. So flight route is T1. Loading the flight plan seems to be a little bit odd because they seem to have their own flight plan format in their own folders where it looks for the flight plans. I haven't been able to load normal P3D flight plans yet. I might be doing something wrong. I still need to, by the way, substantial documentation and good documentation. So we're doing Try&Fly here, okay? And for those that don't know, I just wing it here. That's the idea. And I see how well I fare with just climbing in here. If my knowledge of 737 brings me to my destination without a hitch, that's Try&Fly. So if you expect a tutorial, that's not a tutorial. Don't come telling me that I should read manuals, please. I keep explaining that to people, and I keep getting these comments. This is not what this is about here. If you need in-depth knowledge about the aircraft, please look for other channels where they might provide that to you. Although I have to say there isn't that much around the Ifly, especially not around the advanced one. So I might actually be doing some additional videos with a bit more in-depth knowledge transfer. Company route, yeah. So I still have to read this because it looks a bit strange. We only seem to have own folder with own file format, and I need to see if SimToolkit Pro and other tools do actually support this file format. I'm pretty sure it's not totally outlandish, but it just happens to be slightly different to what we know. 07 is the runway, and I'm going to, you need to provide the runway, then it will pre-select it, but you can also select it here. APTA 4 Hotel. We'll go back to the route. Next page, APTA 4 Hotel APTA. Then first is Rixet. I know this route now almost by heart because I'm using it again and again. It's like my old one at WC Airport. Yankee 161, that's the difference, by the way, to WC. In WC we didn't use airways or anything like that. And here I do because it wasn't that overly realistic, but there is a twist here also in this route for those that don't know what I'm normally doing in a Try&Fly. And the twist is because I realized that many, especially MSFS add-ons with default avionics, they mess up when you just provide the approach. So basically what we're done now, yeah. I go now to the arrival, I use arrival, and the only thing I do is I select the ILS. And in some add-ons, especially in MSFS, this throws it off because MSFS puts you a standard BETOS arrival in there and some transitions that it's the whole plan is all over the place, and the only thing to get rid of it is by flying there and then do a direct to Magat or something, because otherwise you'll be all over the place. And that's my test. Does an add-on allow me to do this here? Because this is perfectly okay to do this. It should allow to do this. In this case, it does. So absolutely no problem. Very simple. And going to the legs, and that's also actually perfectly normal and happens practically on all add-ons with a decent avionics. Magat has to fill the discontinuity that is put in here. But that, again, this is not a problem. This is actually the way it should be. Activate, execute, done. We have our flight plan in there. There is a possibility to get route data, especially the wind data. So if you go on the route data page, you can do a winds request. Now the thing is, it can read active sky files. I don't have active sky running. That's probably the reason why we are not getting any, because active sky has kind of a little inbuilt web server. So it would go on the local host and a specific port where active sky would provide the wind data. We're going to do this when we do a proper flight, but I haven't tried it yet. But I guess we will get wind data when we request it, when this whole setup is complete, which is great. Yeah, it's also done by the more modern PMDG add-ons, and this one does it too. So I have to say the Ifly, from a functionality point of view, is actually really good. So let's go back to the route. Let's finish the setup here, performance in it. Now, we have 20 tons of fuel. Here we need to do something about it. Let me quickly move over here. I'm going to use the sim here. We're going to go to refuel. Yeah, it is a little bit odd. So we need to go to number 1 tank, desired, and there was something strange when I tried to get off fuel, which probably isn't realistic. Yeah, it wouldn't do it. At least not here. What you can do is, if you have not enough fuel, and that is the normal case, you do not have enough fuel in the tank, you need more, you put the desired value here, you open the valve, and then it will kind of start, it fakes the fuel truck putting in fuel for you. Okay. But what I found out is that you can go to, yeah, here by the way is the same thing. Yeah, that's again the 3 tanks separately, which is also different to many other add-ons that we have, which only allow you to give you the complete value, and then they distribute it. You can really do fuel imbalance at your heart's delight here. But I wasn't able to get fuel out. Okay, but what you can do is, and we need to do this anyway, is the performance. They do have a performance calculation. Wow. Okay, let's copy the FMC data, because what it does is it puts in all the data. Now I'm not sure if this is correct. 16 degrees, yeah, 29, this is 1013. That's correct. EDDS runway 7, so it pulled all of that. Which means I can use the values that I intend to use. Takeoff 1, derated, flap 1, the air conditioning can stay on, and there is no anti-ice because we have warm day. The other thing you need to do before you calculate things is, and here is where we can do something about our fuel, because plant trip fuel is 6,000. What? Okay, no, that's not the way it works. Okay. Well, then let's do it like this, 3,000. And in the main tank 2, that's the wing tanks, 3,000. makes it 6,000. And now let's see. Set P3D fuel. At least that worked when I tested it. And here you go. We have 6 tons of fuel on board. That's what I wanted. The other thing is you can do the following. You can go to read P3D data. Now it would have taken the already existing fuel. And here you can look now in the cargo. We have actually 2 pallets loaded, one in the front, one in the back, which probably helps with keeping your balance here, your center of gravity. And we have actually also something in the forward and aft baggage. That's the one below the main cargo area, which brings our taxi and takeoff to about 59.8 tons. And I think that's okay, so we say complete. The good thing is now it has filled in your takeoff weight here and your CG, your center of gravity. 22.9 is actually quite okay. And now I press on calc. And you can see we are taking off with flaps 1. It suggests select a temperature of 65. It's the... Where is the takeoff 1? Have I not defined that yet? I thought... No, well, it doesn't show it here. Okay, so we're looking at a percent N1 of 85.3. And let's now go into the FMC. Like in the PMDG, you can click here and you get your values pre-filled for yourself. Okay, so it's 6 tons, 0 fuel weight. The reserves, I'm going to use 2 tons. The cost index is 35, all as we usually have it. Flight level 140. You can actually fill in the winds. I'm not going to do this on this flight. Execute. N1 limit. Now we're going to take off 1, and it had suggested 65 degrees. For some reason, it's getting 86.6. Now, when I was playing with this, let's copy the data again, just to make sure. Calculate 139, 140, 150. 86. And this one says 85. There is a bit of a mismatch, and I haven't yet figured out. I mean, I was able to get it in the same, but it's a bit strange. So what the EFB calculates and what this thing calculates seem to be slightly off. Oh, we are on climb. Oh, what am I doing here? Should we not be? Oh, that's the climb. Okay. Yeah, we are on tier 1. I got thrown off here by this. Well, anyway, I think will be okay. So we're taking off with flaps 1. And center of gravity. And it automatically... See, it shows you 19.9. The other one was calculating something like 22. 5.6 is a trim. It's automatically set on your trim where you don't have to worry about that one. And we're almost the same numbers. I think it was 139, 140, 150. Yeah, so that's almost the same. That's fine. So we're not completely off, but it's a bit strange that these two do not calculate the same values. Don't know why that is. We're done, meaning we will arrive in Munich at 4.7 tons of fuel. So at the moment we are looking fine. Let's fire up the APU. Okay. You can't keep the thing hold down. Normally you wait a couple of seconds, but it works with the one click. Yeah, you can see the APUs coming up now. Let's turn on all these pumps. So let's get the aircraft prepared. Anti-collision light on. And to kind of speed things up, let's get ultimate ground crew activated here. Pushback sequence. What? That's not... okay, please. That has worked before. I just did it half an hour ago. Why is it telling me I'm not on a parking spot? What are you talking about? Why? This is parking spot number 105. What are you telling me here? I tell you, with these add-ons, it's a lotto game. You never know. User aircraft is not located in a parking spot. Possibly when it did the kind of it's scanning the airports for parking positions, and apparently yeah. Well, we are not. Why are we not? No, I don't want to do anything. If you change position here, you start from scratch. So I don't care. You know what we do? We'll do the startup of the engine and then we taxi out, because I can't be bothered with that crap now. It did work, as I say, just before I started this video. I did test these things. Oh no. Well then, suit yourself. Go away. There was an update of Ultimate Crew, and I have a feeling that was not an update but a low date. So there seem to be strange things now with Ultimate Ground Crew, which is a great tool, by the way, but yeah, looks like something is fishy. What can I say? Now that threw me off. So we have the APU. And let's quickly jump here into the ground stuff. Go back here, go ground support and disconnect. Set. Do we have chocks or anything? No. That's okay. Parking brake is set. And that means we should be ready for engine start. So let's see here, pressure. Well, let's start engine number 2. In the meantime, starter cutout number 1. So this one is right click, by the way, otherwise you won't get it up. I tried with left click, I don't know how often. Right click. Okay. Yeah, right click also to get this one up. Flight director. As I say, you get used to it, but it is a little bit confusing at times. So 2 good starts. Flaps 1. APU off. So flaps in position 1. Auto brake RTO. So are we done here? No, we're not yet done. LNAV VNAV turn on. And the auto throttle I usually turn on when we're at the runway. Yeah, looking good. Now what we can try is, there's a pushback facility I haven't tried yet. So let's see, straight line distance 30 meters. Let's assume that's correct. And we want the nose to go towards the right at 90 degrees. Start now. Let's see what that does. I'm not sure if 30 meters is too much or okay, but I think 30 meters should be... I hope we don't end up in the grass. Did I not say nose to the right? Or did I misread? Turn, nose gear. Crap. What does that mean? Nose gear. The gear to the right means we're going left? Huh? What? The tail is now going left, not the nose. Who cares? It's a little bit too wide also because it's... yeah. Let me stop this. Stop. That's okay. Thank you very much for nothing. Let's go to the airport map. Yeah, we're on the grass. Great pushback. Thanks Ultimate Ground Crew for not working in my video. I think we're done. Taxi lights on. Parking brake off. And let's try and get turned. I hope the steering works, because I had some issues with that. So when I read nose right, I assume this, okay? Not what we have seen. It's a bit confusing the way they describe that. But maybe it's my quirky interpretation of what nose gear right means. Yeah, today, thank God the whole steering thing works. I had real problems on my first attempts yesterday evening. It's quite a mess with the axis and the calibration. There were some really strange things happening. Today it's okay. Now let's get that aircraft off the ground. 49 minutes. Yeah, that's okay. Not too bad. I mean, guys, that's the way it really takes time. I mean, yeah, you can save a situation. With this aircraft you can really do this, cockpit state and all that, and be ready in something like 10 minutes. It's theoretically possible, but if you've seen, I haven't really done that much other stuff. I did a really, in brackets, fast setup. It takes time, so don't underestimate how much time it takes you if you go from, especially from cold and dark. Okay, maybe not 45 minutes. Maybe it's more like half an hour. You can probably be through with it if you don't make videos and have to also talk a lot. Although some people think I'm porting too much. But as you can see, I'm not working myself up on this one. When you do YouTube for a long time, you stop taking every comment so serious anymore. Especially when it's strange comments. I do get strange comments from time to time. Don't taxi too fast, because when it gets too fast, it actually becomes harder to steer it. And the steering is quite jumpy. So on speeds around below 10 or 10, 15 knots, it's perfectly okay. Don't be at 27 or so, because things are really then quite jerky. You can go left and right of the center line, because it's very hard to actually keep it straight when it's too fast. Okay, so let's get the aircraft. So, transponder on. Strobes on. Taxi lights off. And let's check again. Our flaps are out. And the auto throttle, we need to right click, don't forget to turn it on. And especially with new aircraft, I use this view because otherwise I would be at loss when to turn, or you have to really get used to any new aircraft, or ones that you haven't been flying for a very long time. Usually it takes a few flights to really get used to them again. And if you jump aircraft in simulators like me, it's almost impossible to remember everything. Oh, by the way, there is a hot heads-up display. I've also got a view for this, which looks like it's okay. Very nice, yeah, I have to say. That's also definitely a added bonus here. Now, I think we are fine. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. Let's go to about 50 or so, and then I have a button programmed for the takeoff power. Takeoff power set. And the aircraft is falling down the runway. For some reasons today we're not as jumpy on the taxi, because I had real difficulties yesterday night to keep it on the runway center line.
V1.
And oops, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. I'm following the flight director. Which is relatively easy to do. Yep. Okay, command A. See what the autopilot does. Flaps up. Yeah, this is a strange one. Don't click on the gear lever to get into the off position. Use the click spot on the off position or you will be extending the gears again. Transition altitude. And we're done. The aircraft is climbing. We are relatively light, so 3000 feet per minute is what the VNAV commands here. So flaps are up, no light. Gears up and off. Looking good. Now let's see how well it does with following our route and getting also the top of descent and all. Now when we look here, top of descent is not yet there. We are not yet at the top of climb, therefore we're not able to see the top of descent yet. As soon as we reach the top of climb, then it will probably display. Now something I haven't done but I'm going to see is I'm going to change the targeted speed to 250, because I don't really want to go 300 and something on flight level 140. We are on the climb, so we have exceeded 10,000. And I was a little bit late now with setting this up. Yeah, 295. Let's see if I can change this in flight. Execute. And what does it do? Ah, looky. Yes, it's putting it in. That works. This is the kind of stuff that doesn't work with all aircraft that I have in 3 simulators. Okay, in some you cannot change things, or things might go horribly wrong when you try. So this one does it perfectly. So I have to say, the base simulation of a 737, everything that I've touched so far and looked at so far is accurate, is fine. It may be not that deep down realistic as a PMDG maybe, but there are failures, maybe not as many as the PMDG. So I would say it's something like 80% PMDG. So that's my feeling that I have at the moment. So we reached our cruise altitude, flight level 140. The power went down. Yeah, we are on our 250 target speed. That's fine. Talking about target speeds, let's prevent it to speed up again when we go into the descent. 250. Execute. That works great. Below 10,000 it will reduce to 240. And let's quickly check the... I thought so. I need to see if I can program that somewhere or configure it somewhere, because it doesn't make sense that we have 5,000 on the one and so here's the route, flight level 250. It has changed all the speed values. Very nice. Let's see the progress page. So we have now got the top of descent in 36 nautical miles. That's perfectly okay. 5.1 tons at the top of descent, and we have 4.3 tons in Munich. So we are fine here with regards to fuel consumption and all the other stuff. So I could make some music now. Dun, da-dim, da-dum, da-dum. We're not going to do that. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Now, as I said, you will have to get used to the add-on. Takes a wee moment. It still shows the position, but the problem is we don't have a chart here, so there is actually no map display where you could see where you are in this. Not that I really miss it, but kind of for completeness, wouldn't it be great if we also have a kind of a flight map? But then again, that's just, yeah, it would be nice. Oh, I forgot the initialize flight. I'm not sure what this does. Should I have pressed this? I don't want to press it now. We are in the middle of flight. Better not. If you have the Honeycomb Bravo, use the default profile for prepared. So you for prepared you have the Honeycomb software that edits and applies profiles. Use the default profile, not PMDG or something like that, because you might end up with not working switches. The default works fine here because they use the default events of FSX prepared, which is good. PMDG doesn't do that, so you need a lot of special things with PMDG to have, like the MCP work with the Honeycomb. So here it's absolutely no problem. I can change the heading and the speed to just having my Honeycomb throttle unit here. To me personally, because I do use external hardware, I haven't tried the GoFlight yet. I need to probably set up a profile for the GoFlight, but I have come away from the GoFlight hardware because less and less is working. The hardware is really old. It's really old stuff, and it shows slowly but surely. It shows, and so the displays, they don't come on anymore. I tried already a couple of things that worked in the past. So far, I haven't been able to get the displays working, and yeah, the knobs they're breaking off. So I had to glue a couple of things, and it's a pity. But it was okay. I got it to a reasonable price already now a couple of years ago, and well. Now what we can do in the meantime is let me put on some lights and very quickly go into time mode. Okay, so here. Yeah, now that's what it looks like. It's okay, so if you are in the real dark, it's actually fine. It's just when you're at an airport with extended lighting, that can look a bit strange. But here, I think it's perfectly okay. Yeah, and dim lighting, full lighting, which is blinding almost. Yeah. So as you can see, outside airports with external lights and the HDR extended lighting on, I think it's perfectly okay what we have here. Back into daylight. By the way, we have somewhere between 35 and sometimes 50 frames per second. It's fluctuating quite a bit. It's on unlocked frames. That's perfectly fine. I have absolutely no problem with that. For me, this is great frame rates. So we're approaching the top of descent. We already got the FMC message, so let's dial in 5000 and see what happens. I'm going to use Autobrick 1. So we need to bring this to 1450. Flaps 30 means 139 is our reference speed. We've started with a descent. So no worries here. This thing is just doing what it's supposed to do, and I don't have to worry about it going bonkers on the approach, at least so far. I haven't been able to fly an approach yet. I just tested it quickly to see how things work. It aims at reaching 5,000 slightly before Magat. So I am pretty confident that we'll be okay. Let's quickly check the navigation radios. 10950, 10950, because I'm going to attempt an Autoland and see how that is working. It's descending with about 1,300 feet per minute at the moment, is it? Yeah. So I think we are nicely on the vertical profile here. So everything is working out nicely. You can see this also on the PFD. Yeah, you can see here this is our vertical indicator here, vertical path indicator. It's like an ILS glide slope thing. It shows you that we are where we should be. We're exactly on the vertical path. And you can also see VNAV path is the mode, LNAV, and we have FMC speed. So yeah, the only thing we've prepared is if you go outside the simulator to look into another program like Little Nav Map, unfortunately part of the sounds disappear. That's something that MSFS and Explain do not have. But that's a well-known feature. So at the moment it looks like we're not going to reach 5,000, but I'm pretty sure this is just temporary. Yeah, it comes back. But we're still nicely on the vertical path, so I have no worries. I think we'll be fine the way it looks. Now I remember that the Ifly was can be difficult to slow down. I wonder if this one has the same characteristics. We will see when we reach the deceleration point, and we need to reduce speed to the up speed, 200, I think around 200 knots. By the way, there's a terrain mode, which I haven't turned on. There's also a weather radar. I haven't tested yet because I don't have precipitation. Therefore, you wouldn't be able to see anything here. Yeah, these are all things that I will give maybe a further test. So we're in auto mode here, weather and turbulence. So it looks like it's coded. Oh, we are below 10,000. Hang on. Didn't turn on the lights. During the day, someone told me that you usually don't use the extractable lights because they... Well, if you want to slow down the aircraft, you can bring them out, but during the day, someone told me you don't need all 4 lights. So since then, I'm kind of only turning on the fixed ones and the runway turn-off lights. Although I'm not even sure we need those ones. This is more for night, I would say. Yeah, so you can see that we've we commanded 240 now, but it's kind of dangling around 247, 248. So there is a bit of a difficulty holding the speed. And I kind of remember that it can be difficult because it's actually accelerating at the moment. And that with only around 1,000 feet per minute. Yeah, we're actually getting faster, and the aircraft somehow doesn't compensate for that. Probably because it can't. Let's see, do we have a... No, I don't see a message regarding the speed brake. So, we have 1,000. I think we should be fine. The deceleration point comes now, which means that it will... Yeah, it has reduced the vertical speed now. I hope we won't miss the 5,000 feet now because of that. I'm helping with the speed brake. I had an issue yesterday with the speed brake. Let's see. So what does it do? Bit strange. When I fully extend it, it is less. Yeah, yeah, I still have to kind of and it comes as speed brake armed. Shouldn't that be... Is that the right light? Yeah, green light. Yeah, okay. So let's see. We can already see the ILS. I'm going to arm the approach mode just to see what happens. We're turning. It has actually... Yep. Glide slope captured. Localizer captured. It's actually quite good. Now we've lost the VNAV, LNAV stuff, and the speed we actually need to do themselves and see how, although I have extended the speed brakes, it takes a long time for it to go down. So flaps 1. And I'm going to manually bring down the speed now. It won't be done automatically. And you can see it's really strange. Okay, now you can hear the noise. There's still something wrong here with the axis. Somehow, although it looks okay optically, like visually it's okay, but the results are not what I would expect. Laps live. Also, arming the speed brake didn't really work for me, so I used the Shift hash key, at least on my keyboard. But it flies the approach nicely. So far, no problem here. Flaps 10. Gear down. We're slightly under the glide slope. Flaps 15. Flaps 20. Oops. We missed the transition altitude.
1,000.
Whoops. No. Flaps 30. Flaps 30. Green light. Now let's put in the speed brake. You see, that's the problem. You forget it. I use the shift hash to arm it now, because I couldn't get it really done with the... We are established, so I'm activating... Not working. Something must be missing. I'm just not sure what it is. Heading. I will have to take over myself. I already see that. Let's try
500.
that. Let's try that again. No. Okay. That was not what I wanted to do.
400.
Um...
300.
Auto throttle off, autopilot off. You need to find the right position.
Minimum.
No, now the second... What happened here? Oh, shut up, will you?
Light slow. 50, 40, 30.
Oh, yeah.
10.
Now that was quite a... I'm not sure what happened, but the second autopilot then suddenly came on. So I think there's something wrong with the key assignment for my autopilot disconnect on the yoke. No, that was... So Autoland didn't work, but I must have made something wrong, because I have seen that Autoland... Oh, principally works. Okay. I didn't put in the reversers. Auto brake off. Ugh, what a mess. Okay, speed brake in. But landing wasn't difficult. Flaps in. Yeah, new aircraft, huh? There's always some little surprises. Let's start the APU. What else have we got here? So flaps are up, yeah, speed brakes is up. Well, actually, steering the aircraft on the approach was absolutely no problem. There were no surprises. It was quite docile in the reactions, not like jumpy like many other aircraft where you have real difficulties keeping it on the glide slope. I was just thrown off now by this whole... Because I was kind of steering and nothing happened. And that's so shortly before the approach. Normally you would, in such a case, you would go around. But I'm not doing go-arounds in my Try&Fly. Almost, yeah, I still need to get used to the steering. There is quite a difference between the steering tiller and the rudder pedals that I use at the beginning. The rudder pedals don't give as much input, so you may end up in the grass with it. Well, all in all, we're a little off. I still need to find the right reference points. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Where the EFIS unit starts. We're on the. We're actually getting quite fast, so let's slow down a little bit. By the way, when you use FS2 Crew, it's an older version of FS2 Crew. You can see it, the interface and all is not like what FS2 Crew looks like nowadays. There are certain things that the virtual copilot will not do. So if you're expecting you don't have to do anything, it doesn't work like that. It seems that, for example, the auto throttle is not turned on by and there are a couple of other things that they expect you to switch on yourself. So I also need to get the documentation and read through the procedure, to the list of steps that every procedure is doing, and which is actually done automatically by the virtual copilot and whatnot. Somehow the gates here in the Simwings Munich don't seem to work, at least so far. Well, it's a cargo plane. We shouldn't really be parking here, but you know. Oops, taxi light off. Maybe I shouldn't do this while I'm taxiing. Chosen the wrong view. Oops. Yeah, that's the warning when you apply too much thrust with the thrust levers. Now, here we go. Park brake on. And left click to turn him off again. And the engine display just came on. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, I really like it. I have to say, this is so much Boeing. Fine for me. I don't need more than that. I usually, a lot of the features that the PMDG offers additionally, especially when it comes to emergencies, I never use. I don't do emergency procedures. It's no point doing them on your own. And so I personally think it is a lot of aircraft in plural that you get. And yeah, you even get a cargo aircraft, so like someone like me who actually prefers flying cargo. The gates don't come here. Not sure why. Maybe it's because it's a cargo aircraft. I don't know. I can't tell you. So very good, very nice aircraft. I think it's worth the price. With reduction, if you have the older version, of something like $50, and I think it's $69 when you have to buy it new, like you haven't got any older version. And the reduction only applies when you bought it at Flight 1. At least I bought it at Flight 1 years ago, so they still know that, remember that, so they gave me automatically the reduction. Yeah. Do you need the expansion pack? That's up to you. you do get the 737-800, and I think that is quite a good aircraft on its own. They do have liveries. There's a livery manager. I still have to look what the community offers. I'm pretty sure there are all kinds of liveries out there for the Ifly. It might not be as many because, first of all, it's a new add-on, and it's also not a very common one. But I think that's why I wanted to show you this. I really like it. I think if you are unprepared, if you're still unprepared, because a lot of people I think have turned their backs on it, and you need a 737, you don't want to spend $180 on a package like the PMDG with all the aircraft, I have to say. But we're talking full package. You pay about half, a little bit more than half the price here for the Ifly, and you get a similar package that you would get with everything, with all the expansions from PMDG. And I think it does all I need to do with a 737. So it's an option. It's definitely an option not to spend the full money if you don't want to. Right, I hope that was useful. You might be seeing me doing some more videos on this one here in the near future, because I really like it. Thanks for watching, and until next time.